Hey, what's up everyone? I just want to let everyone know that there is a storm system that is this large that is about to hit the eastern coast of the United States. So if you live on the East Coast, I just wanted to make a separate video of this to let you know to be aware of this gigantic and monstrous storm system that is really underreported. It's really not reported on enough. This is another Bombogenesis bomb cyclone in a series of these bomb cyclones to hit the United States. I'm going to give you a quick overview. This next bomb cyclone is ahead with high winds, rain, lots of flooding, and heavy spring snow. It's going to hammer the Northeast. Now, Bombogenesis that hit Nebraska last week, it was no joke. That's what caused that major system. That's what caused that flooding. Thousands upon thousands of cattle and animals to die, people to suffer, freezing, and then melting, causing major flooding. It was no joke. They said $1,300,000,000 in damage has taken place with that historic flooding as the snow and ice melted. The entire rivers froze. That was the result of a bombogenesis. It's like a polar vortex on steroids, but then when it melts, you get these storm systems that are spring-like but damaging. That's the result of this changing climate in which we live. Now, evacuations continue in Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois due to the worst flooding that they have seen in decades. Now, the same thing now for northeastern United States could be happening this week. Now, they put a question mark on there because the track of these things could change. It could change pace. You never know. Weather is, well, like the weather. It changes on a dime. It changes instantly. But if they're telling you a bomb cyclone is possible, folks need to heed the warnings and be prepared, because this is not something to play around with, and this is the current path or track that they're seeing of this. Now, this is the kind of system that we seen in 2018, and they're warning the East Coast that it could happen again now. Now, a storm destined to become the next bomb cyclone for the United States. It'll target the Northeast with high winds from Friday to Saturday as cold air blasts through the region. Its winter-like condition is in store. In order for the strengthening storm to be dubbed a bomb cyclone or a bombogenesis storm, the barometric pressure at the center of the storm must plummet to 0.71 of an inch of mercury. That's 24 millibars within 24 hours. This kind of storm may reach that criteria as it moves northward, and intensifies from Thursday evening near Delmarva to Friday evening in South Maine. This is the current track on the system. You can see right here that it's in the Midwest. The clouds are heading into Tennessee. We're going to get a whole lot of rain on Thursday in the state of Tennessee. Then it moves up the East Coast. But you can see a definite chaotic radar showing that there are various storm systems and various clouds, some moving one way, some remaining stationary, and some moving another. These are moving this way. These clouds are just sitting right here and trying to move that way, but just mostly sitting stationary. This one is moving that way. Now, when these two systems hit, well, you know how that goes. The storm will first deliver areas of drenching rain, then flooding, then heavy snow to end this week. However, most of the far-reaching impact of this storm will be on the tail end, from the very blustery wind conditions and a return of the cold air. Winter-like conditions will then return to the areas in the United States. Residents should brace for high wind. Some areas are expected to see wind chills of 7 degrees. I know we are expected a wind chill of 7, they say right now, unless the current conditions change by the next weekend. So we'll see what happens. I know we'll be in the 20s. But while perhaps not as strong as the wind during late February, the northeast nor as strong as the hurricane force winds in the central states this week and this last week. Winds will pack a punch from Friday to Saturday. We had nautical, they called it nautical winds in Tennessee, hurricane force winds last week. People should prepare for power surges, localized power outages, and expect very windy conditions. From these areas, they expect a lot of wind, up to 60 miles per hour max. The anticipated wind gusts can break large limbs, topple weak-rooted trees that have remained upright in soggy soil where they've been drenched. Winds anywhere from 40 to 50 miles per hour. So these powerful force in the forecast, powerful winds are expected to hit from the Great Lakes to the Central Appalachians on Friday, spread to the Mid-Atlantic and New England coast by Saturday. High winds can flip over large trucks and cause significant low-level turbulence for airline passengers and tricky landing conditions and takeoffs for pilots. So, as you know all this stuff already, winds will subside finally Saturday evening to Sunday, but colder air is to accompany high winds. The circulation around the strengthening storm will not only cause high winds, but also create a large backwash of cold air. So that cold air right there is going to be the real field air temperatures are anywhere from 10 to 20 degrees all the way up in Buffalo and down into North Carolina. North Carolina could see temperatures anywhere from 10 to 40 degree real field temperature. Then plummets, and they could see negative 10 to 0 degrees in these areas. So definitely look out for negatives. When you see negatives, and these areas shown right here will be in the negatives. The areas here in a little bit darker blue, but the darkest of the blues, will be 10 to 20 degrees. These areas, which does include Tennessee and the Carolinas, are expecting temperatures of 10 to 20 degrees. Now, as you head into the majority of the states of Tennessee and Kentucky, half of Kentucky and the majority of Tennessee and southwest of there are expecting temperatures in the 30s, 20s to 30s to around 40 degrees. So it's going to be a crazy system. And this is the weather forecast, where the precipitation is most likely. Snow will blanket the northern New England areas and high elevation snowfall risk in central Appalachians by late Saturday night, Thursday through Saturday. Expecting up to 6 to 12 inches of snow in many areas. In any cases, if they're telling you a bomb cyclone is possible, heed the warnings, be prepared, and stay as safe as you possibly can in situations like this. That, along with the fact that rivers are turning red still, and no one has any explanation for why. We're just going through some crazy times, folks, and stay as safe as possible. I love you all. Decided to give you this little update of what's going on around this world. A bomb cyclone is on the way, so heed the warning, stay as safe as possible, and keep your eyes open and watching the forecasts. Peace. Bye.